Yo, 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 it's your boy Glenn Lawrence, and today we are going to be talking about, well, wait a minute. Where am I at? Welcome to the Trident, motherfuckers. Welcome to the motherfucking Trident. Today I am joined with the one and only RP Thor. Yo, yo, yo. Mr. Phil Foster. Watch his hands. His hands are a little frisky, and they will creep, ladies. They will definitely creep.
What's up, Glenn?
Skull, nice to be here. Today we're going to talk about escalation. Now, last week we talked about a dead bedroom, correct, Glenn?
We talked about, having a dead bedroom and how to get things back going. Today, you guys are going to help educate us on how, you guys got something going on, but how do you take it to the next level?
Exactly. Things are smooth. They're running along. You got your girl. Yeah, you think it's dialed in, but it's just kind of, you're starting to see a schedule come into play.
Ooh.
Now, you're going to have to take a little bit of initiative here. You're going to have to add some novelty. Well, Phil, how do you do that? We'll talk a little bit today. I'm thinking that there's a couple ways to do this, and I'm thinking probably some of the best ways to do it and to do it with a little bit of red pill fervor is to play with her. Remember when
I got a question,
girls?
Before you guys get into that, just real quick though, how do these guys find, where do they find the novelty? Is it all in porn? Are they supposed to just view porn to know if this is what they want to do?
No. But you can insert passion, you can insert intimacy. What you want to avoid is routine. Although sometimes routine is comforting, you want to avoid routine. It doesn't always have to be porno sex, by the way. But what it does have to do is you have to, as a man, you think of us, guys. Most of us are 3 to 6 minute wonders.
Excuse me?
Introduce novelty and enjoyment. You're going to have to get to the next level.
Right, hey, yes, sir. Hey, can we just pour one out real quick, man, for the for those guys, man? Pour it out, man.
Who are you referring to as 3 to 6?
pour them out, bro.
We do 45-minute minimums over here.
Yeah. Well, they don't have to be marathon sessions either, but remember, quality over quantity is pretty good. Although I like quantity as well. Quality is very intriguing because when you can get the quality up, you can get the excretions of her brain chemistry and other bodily fluids at such a level so deep that it almost enters into a spiritual realm. And there's ways to do this. Remember, even though a woman has that kitty down below, the real kitty exists up here in her mind. So, if things are just rolling along smooth, you're going to have to learn to play with her, as Rolla would say, and play with her. So you're going to have to slow it down. You're going to have to start teasing. I think the best place I like to start guys out with is something called coquetry, right? You've often heard it referred to as...
That's not cuckoldry.
Yeah. Clarify.
Let's clarify that.
Coquetry is the technique of push-pull. Okay? You ever get involved with a woman where things are starting to go up and then you push away and say, nope, not now. You're going to have to earn it. An example, right? That part of it. Also, there's emotional spiking that's involved. I used to do something like this myself, and you could do it around things that you wouldn't normally do. And that's where, for instance, I used to have, my wife would make me these burritos, right? She'd make me these breakfast burritos. And so I would spike her emotions and play with her. And believe it or not, this actually leads to better bedroom fun. So she'd make me this food. And the first time she would make it, I would start to eat it. And then I would kind of, oh man, I'd put it down, throw it down like it was the worst tasting crap in the world, right? And I'd look around and say, oh my God. And she'd go, what? Thinking that she had screwed up, right? Emotions spiking straight to the roof. Then I'd look at her and say, I don't know if I can take these to work with me. They're so delicious and make me so damn horny. I don't even know if I can finish this burrito. Boom. Now I have an emotional up, an emotional bring back down. She goes, oh, you're just kidding. Ha ha ha. You just had me going for a minute. You see, now you don't have to use that in particular, but there's lots of things like that. She can be doing something around the house as simple as, unplugging the vacuum down there. Oh, you better not do that. I'm going to have to get that vacuum. and put it somewhere where you can't access it, because the way you plug that thing in, it's going to stop the entire day. You're driving me crazy. Little things like that can be very, very useful. I'm just using those as minor examples. And you can overdo
Yeah,
it too. So you have to go in a ladder format, right? You have to couple it with some Kino as well.
yeah, I've did that before. Like I ran in the room, like looked like I was frantic, like, as if I'm looking for something. Oh my god, where is it? Where is that damn thing? And she's like, what are you looking for? Yo, pussy.
Big one for me, man, is my girl, when she takes care of the house, man, she mops on her hands and knees.
Yes, sir.
There's something about that fucking position, dude.
Mhm.
But let's just be real. Isn't like your girl always on her hands and knees?
Yeah, she spends a lot of time crawling, man.
Well, now that as we get more and more advanced, this we'll definitely go there in future episodes, because the BDSM, the Dom sub relationship, is a way to explore that intimacy to even higher levels and to create what's called flow state. We talk about dirty talk, and that's one of the entry levels into getting better bedroom. I mean, us guys, as soon as we say, oh, give me the snatch and this and that, and we're ready to go, right? Takes a little bit more for the girls. You got to be a little more finesse type of game, right? You got to paint a scenario or explore a fantasy in some ways. You can use tools. We're not talking about pornos here, but you do want to start it off as something that would be intriguing and mysterious. Something mysterious that has innuendo is often best. And then you start to edge. You edge into that where it's beyond innuendo. And you could do this with really any woman. And it just goes past that innuendo, and then you pull it back. Like, how could you take it like that? That's coquetry, right?
Yeah.
How could you take something like, where is your mind, girl? Did they raise you in the gutter? You see? And once that's established and there's this play back and forth, she's actually going to get quite excited. Even if she says no.
You're not. This is all verbal, pretty much. This is not physical
All verbal
at all
component.
yet.
Right.
This is all verbal.
Right. And then you're going to start to use, I know they call it, what is it? The Kino escalation ladder, where you're touching. There's indirect touching. Now, if this is already a girl, already you have permission to go past indirect, right? So, picking her up, things like that. You're already at that point where it's more overt, although it does help to do the passive or the incidental contact inside of the elbow, gently on the inside of the arm, things like that. And then, as you get closer and closer, you get to the overt where it's belly to belly, things like that, up together, pull away, so it's this back and forth, almost like a dance, really. And as you get better at this, you start to set triggers, because you're going to talk to them and you're going to be speaking in that sexy voice. At some point, you're going to be making dirty talk a part of this. You're going to explore it. You look so sexy. I want you to tell me how sexy you look. She's going to go, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I says, I want you to tell me how sweaty you get with me. Oh, I don't. You're just being silly. He said, no. And that's where you're going to be forceful. Not forceful, but you're going to be commanding. And then you're going to get her to repeat. If you can get her to repeat any of the things that you like as far as dirty talk is concerned, oh, tell me what you like. Oh, I like this. Oh, say that again. Now say it like you mean it, girl. You did not say it like you mean it. I think I'm going to have to smack you where the sun doesn't shine, because you didn't say it like you mean it. Are you just playing around with me? These are the kinds of things that you go back and forth with. And then you can laugh, put it off, come back, be stronger. And at some point, you're going to actually start to use the dirty talk in a format where it gets really dirty. You're going to talk about how her genitals are swelling when you're around, how she likes this. You're going to learn these things, and you're going to start to adapt it. Hey, we're right here in public. How about that dressing room right over there, the Coles? Oh, she's going to get all upset, and maybe it'll stir something in her. The fear, the excitement of getting caught. Now, I'm not saying you do anything, but you're already paving the way to better sex later. Why? Because when you get into that intimate environment with her on the next go around, guys, and you're not in the Coles, she's going to remember it, because you're going to bring it up as a fantasy. You're going to describe where you were at. How was it cold?
Hold on, Thor, I want to chime in here. Hey, Phil,
Yo.
so that method sounds really, really appealing. I think a lot of guys could, start implementing that, right? The talking and the dirty talk and stuff like that, and then escalate it. But do you have another approach? Is there more than one approach to starting off other than the talking aspect?
Absolutely. You know, the big thing I wanted to go ahead and tee off on with Thor and what he was talking about, gents, it's called verbalization. And here's the thing, you know, when you can speak something into existence, it will become existence. So what Thor was basically talking about is, you know, when you start doing this suggestive speaking with your girl, and you're definitely talking about, you know, certain situations, whether it's fantasy or whatever it is. He talked about the Coles, you know, and I mean, the thing is it's on her mind. You get her to verbalize these things. You know, that's what you want your girl to do, is be able to be comfortable around you, to be able to even verbalize to begin with. You know, and other things you can do definitely to escalate, you know, on the on the push pull thing, you know. So your girls in your life, you know, it's, you know, I like to, what I do with my girls is, you know, I remove my attention for a little while and then I give them a lot of attention. So I'll push pull them that way. And then when I give them that attention, I give them a lot of physical touch. Okay. So if you got a wife or a girlfriend or something like that, and it's kind of stale, you know, not only are you verbalizing like Thor was talking about, but you need to increase the amount of physical contact that you have. And it doesn't have to be anything more than, you know, understanding how your woman's body operates. I mean, because they're all different. They all have different zones in which they, you know, get turned on, you know. So like with one of my girls, you know, the big thing is the low of her back. She loves that shit. So I'll just walk by her and I'll put my hands on the low of her back and just kind of hang out with her for a second and then just move on. Another thing I'll do is, you know, just that physical touch off and on, and then remove it for a little while and let her think about it, and just say, hey, you know, later on down the road, just like, you know, they say you have to go to work or something like that. After you've touched her a few times like that before work, shoot her a text. Say, man, your skin felt really good in my hands. I want to see that skin later. And I guarantee you, after that physical touch and then verbalizing that to her, whether it's through a phone call or text later, 100% she's going to be thinking about what leads into sex. Okay. I think that guys, you know, they don't touch their girls enough. Okay. I'm a big physical touch guy. I think that women need that, because here's the thing, kind of like, you know, what Thor's talking about, it all starts up here in their head. You know, when you verbalize, get a woman to verbalize, and you also give her that physical contact, and it doesn't have to be sexual at all. It kind of solidifies things and gets them going in the right direction.
I agree.
Yeah, because you know what, I wanted to add to that, like, because you mentioned Thor's talking about communicating, talking. So that could be either in person or through text. You're talking about physical touch. I think if you add all three of them, you have a really good combination, right? You could start off maybe verbalizing it, right? Mm-hmm. And then before you leave, you know, you give her a little touch. But then, you know, maybe you're at work and then you're sending her a nice little naughty text. And adding all those up, all those different elements to it, kind of helps keep that thought process in the forefront of her mind. So now she is fantasizing or thinking about it. So that's where the groundwork is. So then by the time you get home, she might already be there, and she might be way ahead of you in that sense, like, right?
Exactly. So let's lace it all together. You're at work, okay, but you've had the conversation in the Coles, and then you've given her that physical touch and taken off, and you've headed to work. The text message might read like this: God, my fucking cock is hard as a rock after I was thinking about Coles and I had my hands on you this morning. There it is right there.
Sure. And I want to take it to the next level too. So start these things out when you are doing something like shopping at Kohl's, right? Or there's even social events that even escalate further. Guys, let's be honest. If you're out at a social event with your girl and there's beautiful people around, laughing, joking, having fun, not getting drunk, acting like assholes, but just being fun and social with other people, this leads to a lot of relaxation, social proof, and just having social proof of people around you respecting you, men and women. This lays the foundation for later. Do some teasing, not in front of other people, but, you know, secret, like you have an inside joke. You see, this is where you can lay some fantasy work with your girls. You know, you could do, once you know your girl and you know her enough, you can actually engage in these little private fantasies in public, and that's one way to introduce novelty. We're not saying that you're cheating or anything like that, or any situation such as that, but it could be as simple as, honey, we're at this party and there's hundreds of people here. I see those girls all dressed like that. Which one do you think's the prettiest? I'm just curious about your opinion. And then she's going to ask you, who do you think's the prettiest? And you're going to look at them and say, well, they're all really pretty, but I'm kind of thinking I'm liking you a little bit better. But if I had to choose and it was really, push come to shove, and then don't pick anybody from there, pick somebody from across the room. So you spike her, you see. So there's a lot of little techniques like that you can use. And of course, there's a way to speak to a woman when you're doing this sort of thing. It's that low, soft Phil Foster type of voice. You're speaking into her left ear.
No, wait a minute, guys. Like, you're telling guys that they should look at other women and ask their woman who they find attractive.
I love it, man. Yes.
Like yes, there's a reason to do that. Yes.
Because like typically guys are like, wait a minute, hold on. You tell me to do this, I'm gonna get in trouble. What if she gets mad at me? What if she cuts off the access?
Yes, this is part of that coquetry. This is also expressing dominance, you see. And by doing that and getting her involvement into it, even though she might feel a little bit jealous or a little bit anger, it's exactly the same feeling as when she's aroused.
Yes.
They plug to the same spot, and you're going to use that as your spike leverage. And so, I would be pushed by certain segments of society saying that's just as bad. It's not just as bad. I'm being responsible, and I'm taking care of her, making sure that she is always seeing me as the best possible choice and being very aroused by me at all times. So that's one of the reasons you would want to go there. Most guys overdo it though, you see.
Yeah.
Because as soon as the gal picks one, they do something stupid right up front and say, yeah, I'd pick her too. Let's go ask her for a threesome. It's a whole nother step. Go guys immediately jump. Exactly.
Yeah, they just jump from like 0 to 100 with it, right?
Exactly.
They're like, if that's what you're gonna do, you gotta slowly open that door and guide her through it, not just push her in the deep end and be like, here we go. Right.
Hey, I wanted to comment.
Guys do not have that kind of competence for years. You have to get somewhere else to, even if you fantasize that, there's an approach that you can use, but it's definitely not that. It's a whole different animal for the better part of a long time to even know if you're that kind of person. So
a couple of physical cues, you're spiking your girl, right, guys? I just wanted to, and maybe Thor, he probably has a few more, but when I do this with my girl, man, it never fails. Like her neck and her upper chest area, they start to flush a little bit. That's how you know that spiking is working. Her eyes might dilate a little bit. She might, express a little bit of nervous energy as well. So you're on the right track if she's displaying those physical attributes when you're doing this with her. And you got to have some finesse with it, right?
Yes, sir.
That's the whole point is you can't go in there and just like a bull in a china closet and throw it out there. You have to slowly get to this position. So for me, it was like, I'll just go ahead and lay it out here like this. There was times when I really started discovering the red pill in my girl. What I would do is we'd be out at the store, and I would get attention from other women in front of her. And you know how women are about that. They get competitive, obviously. And I could sense that competitiveness in her. And I would say, man, she's pretty good looking. She's got a nice ass. What do you think? Just like that, and just keep rolling.
Right.
I'm dead serious. And you know what? And she's like, and she would look at me. She goes, she'll never fuck you like I do, Phil Foster.
Good answer. That's a good way for her to pass your shit test, and you already preempted her shit test.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's the whole thing, guys, is you got to finesse it in there. And so whenever you have those opportunities from attention from other women, when your girl's in here, when she is with you and you're out in public, it's important for you to understand that any opportunity for another woman to give you attention, let it happen. Don't run from that. Let that interaction happen, and let it happen in the presence of your girl. Mm-hmm. And if she, and then flip it immediately on her like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And see what that does is it diffuses the situation. It takes the anger out of her for another woman showing you interest, number one, because they're competitive as hell. I don't care what you say, and that's the moral of the story. And number two, that kind of it kind of like stokes the fires of who you are as a man and your status a little bit. You're like, hey man, I got the attention of this other girl. Hey, I'm on the right track. You know, my physicality's on point. I'm looking good appearance wise. I'm carrying myself appropriately in the social situation for this other woman to pay attention to me. So that there's a twofold win on that. Not only is it boosting your confidence as a man, number two, it's providing an opportunity for your girl to compete, even though she's already your girl, which provides excitement. Am I heading down the wrong road with that, Thor?
Absolutely. There's one more component that's often missed.
I missed it.
You hit the main one. You didn't miss it. I'm going to add to it. You're on it. Is that component where, you know, you have other females publicly interested, or at least giving some sort of look. And that's an important component of it. But another important component that's often overlooked by guys that you can leverage later is when you're in a social environment and you have the respect of other respected men in the social group. That's them admiring that man, and she is attached to that man, and he is a reflection. You know, she is proud of that. That's a big deal too, you see. So that's part of her provisioning and all that sort of thing. A lot of guys will also do the you know, the accepting of female attention in public, and sometimes they'll go too far. And they got to realize they got to be prepared to pass some shit tests, but also if they don't pass it and they get in that spot, you're going to be faced with a comfort test later, and you got to be aware of what you need to do. Because if you don't pass that comfort test, it's going to be harder in the bedroom for at least that moment.
Oh man, the joys of intersexual dynamics.
Now there's guys that, you know, that try to do this, but they try to put on the girl to first look at like another guy, like to ease her in, like if I get her to look at a guy first and tell me who she finds attractive, and then maybe that will open the door for her to ask me who I find attractive, and then so it doesn't come off so like I'm checking out other women. What do you guys say about that? Because I think that's a problem. I think guys that do that set that up, they're actually setting their woman up to look at other men and to sexualize other men, and that is the ultimate problem in all this, right?
Weak. Don't think your woman doesn't already see all their men. They're very good at it, and you're not going to notice.
Mm-hmm.
They're trained from birth. This is stupid. You do something like that, and you're weak, and you're going to show your weakness.
Yeah, that's a big thing right there. Is one of the biggest lies girls tell men is I don't look at other men. Yeah. He said, yeah, you got to laugh at that one and say, okay, babe, you're a sweetheart. Slap her on the ass and send her on her way.
Looks actually matter more to women than men.
It sounds cute and everything, right? When they go, I don't see nobody else but you, babe. Bitch, we're lying.
I'm over here choking on my breakfast burrito Thor was talking about.
Yeah, they have to. Look at us. We're built for combat. They have to say that.
No, but you would never in a million years tell your girl to look at another man. Because you are the prize, gentlemen, 100%. You don't want her looking anywhere else.
Where can guys like go to find it if porn is not the only option? Like, is there courses? Like, do you guys teach courses? Do you guys? Because I know Thor, you have a course called Game 9000.
I do. That's a private course that's only been done one time because discretion is the name of the game.
Yeah,
and it definitely goes into that and alternative lifestyles and into pretty intense escalation. I did that in conjunction with Sterling Cooper, who offers a sexual escalation course that goes right into sexual escalation ladder. So it gets right into that moment where she's receptive and goes right through full completion in how you might grab her neck, how you might grab her hair, how you can pull away, push in, all the things that will push her buttons and get her in that flow state. Because if you don't know, once you have a woman that's aroused, you can get her aroused to a certain point where they get into what's called a flow state, if you've done any erotic hypnosis. And at that point, it is almost spiritual for them. And it's an extremely high bonding process, and they pretty much lose all their inhibitions. And you could see this experienced in real life, you know, when girls get together and they're at this wild party and they just get in, you know, a little bit inebriated, and then things go wild and the inner horror comes out because they pretty much get to a certain spot and they can't stop. And that's where you want to take them with this escalation ladder. Most men don't really know how to do this, but when you do this, the bonding is super intense. So this is why all of us would fear having a girlfriend or a wife that had a pro dom in their history. It would make
Now
it
you're talking about
extremely
this guy,
difficult.
right?
Yeah, my buddy Sterling.
Yeah, he's a
Now,
savage.
he's a porn star, right?
He's a former adult male performer, award-winning, shall we say?
Award-winning. So he teaches a course on how to so this is sexual dominance escalation. So this is just like what we were talking about, like slowly building things up and becoming that guy, right?
Well, he does one on Dirty Talk too, which would really be the precursor to this. I mean, I do one on that
Okay.
too, but it's very similar. We've talked about this before, but he's really this one is why this one is so special. It takes it past that point where we've already talked about fantasy, which we haven't really gone there. But if you're going to talk about fantasy and without watching porn, things like that, it could be extremely powerful. You've already got to that point, and she's kind of waiting for you to initiate. Because what guys really fail at is a lot of guys will think, damn, if she really loves me, she's going to initiate sex. And they do this while they're married and they have long-term girlfriends. Man, I'm sitting right here. I got my shirt off. A lot of guys convince themselves that their girls are going to initiate. Girls are not built that way. Men need to initiate. It's very rare that they will initiate. Of course they will, but you have to kind of play this little game if you're going to get them aroused and initiate. They want you to initiate.
Yeah,
You're
the hunter.
Yeah, because
you're the prey.
I think a lot of guys actually worry about that they try to wait for their girl to initiate so they don't come off as a horn dog. What do you guys think about that? Like, me personally, I say, like, look, if you're horny and you want some ass and your girl's right there, you let her know, like, hey, baby,
yeah,
you better bend over and take this dick.
It doesn't matter where you are. It does not matter.
No,
I don't care where you are. You're at a dinner party and you want some of that. It's like, hey, let's go for a walk.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can always tell the guys that talk, and you were talking with them, they always the ones that don't really explore very much of this. They think that all girls that they really love you are doing reverse cowgirl every time you have sex. It's like the last thing they ever want to do. It's crazy. If you've been around, you know.
Damn, bro.
They would rather have you hold them down and do it that way, not with them doing all that work.
Yeah.
So,
but it's good to put them to work, though.
30-minute mark. We're about to hit our 30-minute mark. So, how about we go around table real quick and just give one point of advice that they could start with, where to start, and then we'll close out and wrap it up. Thor, go ahead. Start with you, buddy.
Okay, I'm going to give you the best one ever because it's going to give you insight into the woman's mind. I want you to read the book by Nancy Friday, My Secret Garden. It was done maybe 30 years ago, and it's a famous writer who asked women all across the country to send in tapes and to write her, and she would be discreet and anonymous and capture all of their sexual fantasies. You need to hear how women actually become aroused and what arouses them and what they're thinking about when they're actually having sex with men. This is crucial and will change your life forever on how you approach things.
Awesome. Mr. Dr. Phil up on ya. Foster, what's up, man?
What's up, man? I actually got the book right here, man. This book right here.
That's a good one.
This one right here is Dom's Guide to BDSM, Volume 1. 49 must-know tips on how to be the perfect Dom master your submissive will truly respect and admire. It's by Matthew Larocco.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay. I'm telling you guys right here, if you want to spice things up in your relationship, read the book and then read it a second time. Here's the thing, man. If she's bored, you need to spice things up. Explore it. You'd be surprised how dirty your girl's mind is. As a matter of fact, your woman's mind is like 10 times filthier than yours. She wants to be in a situation with you, believe it or not, to where she can't even look you in the eyes when it's all said and done. So check out Matthew Larocco's book right here, Dom's Guide to BDSM. You'll love it.
It's a good recommendation.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. And for me, okay, my opinion, best way to start is start by creating, what is it, Thor? That dominant masculine presence. All right.
Yes.
Step one, first become the man. Become the dude that commands that ass when he walks in the room, where every woman knows that ass, he's coming for it and she gonna give it to him. Start there. You start with yourself, becoming that guy. Be that guy from within. And then work on the escalation part. But because I think it's important to know that you can't initiate anything if you don't have the confidence to actually approach it. So you got to first work within yourself and become that guy that commands the attention, that commands her desire. And then from there, learn the escalation tactics that these gentlemen have definitely give us today. Learn those on top of your dominant masculine presence. And if you need help with that, make sure that you go to Thor's Gumroad and sign up for his dominant masculine presence course. All right, got to throw a plug in there, Thor.
Thanks, man.
You start
it's
there.
A lecture, and it's available once you buy it. You have it forever. So
exactly. And then if you know what, maybe you need to get in shape. So after you got your dominant masculine presence, you need to work on that six pack. You hit up Phil Foster at philfosterphys.com, and you'll get your ass in gear with your supplements and everything else. But you add all these things up, and then bam, I think you are set to go. What do you guys think?
100%.
You bet, Glenn. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. Well, that's it for this episode of the Trident, gentlemen. Let's close it out. Thor, be our leader.
Thank you for tuning in to the Trident with these great men, Glenn Lawrence, Phil Foster, and myself, RP Thor. Until next time, we'll see you on the next episode of the Trident.